In the Data Manager, you can create a Web Dynpro Flash Island connection for a dashboard. This type of connection enables you to use the App Development Workbench to bind an application to the dashboard, thereby embedding the dashboard in an SAP system. In this tutorial, you will set up a dashboard for binding to an application, and create the associated Flash Island connection. For this tutorial, assume that an application has been created in the App Development Workbench, with a property context for a single value, and a multi-node context for a data source with a collection of records in table format. The multi-node context includes columns for both labels and values. The dashboard to be embedded in your SAP system includes a dial to display the single value, and a column chart to display the table. Both components have already been added to the canvas. First, set up the spreadsheet to capture the values that are passed into the dashboard. Click the Quick Views list. Select Show Spreadsheet Only. Set up a placeholder for the single value. Type Property 1, and then click Cell B1. Click Shading. Next, set up another placeholder for the table data source, which can return up to 6 rows. Click Cell A3. Type Data Source 1, and then click Cell B3. The labels will be passed to cells B3 through B8, while the values will be passed to cells C3 through C8. Press Shift and click cell C8. Click Shading. Click Cell B1. Click the Quick Views list. Select Show My Workspace. Now that you have set up the spreadsheet to receive the data passed into the dashboard, the next step is to bind the components to the placeholders, so that they display the appropriate values once the dashboard is published in the SAP system. Change the name of the dial and bind it to the single value. Click Dial 1. Click in the title text box. Type Property, and then click the button to the right of the data text box. Click OK. Repeat the process for the column chart, binding it to the cells for the data source. Click the column chart. Click Column Chart 1. Click in the chart text box. Type Data Source, and then click to scroll down. Create a series for the chart and bind it to the placeholder cells for the values. Choose the By Series option. Click Add. Click the button to the right of the Values text box. Click cell C3. Press Shift and click cell C8. Click OK. Click Column Chart 1. Now bind the X-axis to the placeholder cells for the labels. Click the button to the right of the Category Labels text box. Click cell B3. Press Shift and click cell B8. Click OK. Finally, set up the chart to ignore blank cells, so that the chart will automatically adjust if fewer than 6 rows are returned. Click Column Chart 1. Click to scroll up. Click Behavior. Select the InValues checkbox. Click Cell B1. Once the components have been configured, create the Flash Island connection for the dashboard, to create bindings between the Web Dynpro contexts, and the placeholder cells for both components. Click Data. Select Connections. Click the Add list. Select Web Dynpro Flash Island. Define the name and range of the binding for the single value property. The name must match exactly when you bind the dashboard to the context in your application in the App Development Workbench. Click Add. Note that the default type is a single value. Click in the Name text box. Type Property 1, and then click the button to the right of the Range text box. Click OK. Repeat the process for the binding for the data source. Click Add. Click the Type list. Select Table, Data Source. Click in the Name text box. Type Data Source 1, and then click the button to the right of the Range text box. Click Cell B3. Press Shift and click Cell C8. Click OK. Click Close. Once the Flash Island connection is created, you can save your changes and export the dashboard as a Flash file. Click Save. Click File. Click Export. Select Flash. type FlashIsland.swift, and then click Save. After the dashboard has been exported, it can be bound to the application in the app development workbench, using the contexts in the application, and the bindings defined in the FlashIsland connection. You have successfully created a Web Dynpro FlashIsland connection. This is the end of the tutorial.